Hey guys, Squiff the Lazy Geek here, and I am so hyped because we are having clear skies right now, like clear all the way. It's a bit smoggy, sure, but it's summer, so it's always smoggy in Tokyo in summer. So, sorry, it's the first time in months I've had a night that looks good like that, so I'm sure it's going to get cloudy very soon because I just said something like that, but oh man, this is so cool. So today we're going to do two things. We're not in astronomical darkness yet, so I'm going to first do some planetary imaging on Jupiter. So I have a new camera, the 174mm, that I bought for solar imaging, but that can be used for planetary imaging. And I'm going to use a monochrome system, and I'll go to that in a moment. And after we're done with that, and hopefully we get a good result. If we don't, I've taken some frames that we can process together in a previous night, so we have something to do. But we're going to try, and we're going to do that with my Celestron C9.25. We're going to put it on this poor little cute AZ-EQ5 Pro, which I got recently. I recently did the initial setup and my first impressions and tuning of it, so if you're interested in that, please go and have a look at that. I'm linking above. But otherwise, let's get started. Let's get into planetary imaging, and then we're going to look at what target we're going to choose for deep sky imaging. So let's do this. So as always, you're noticing I'm putting my counterweights on before putting in the big C9.25. This is so that if you don't have the counterweights, you could have an unstable equilibrium, which means that if this mount were to tip slightly in one direction or the other, the locking mechanism might fail, and we could get the scope just crashing into the tripod, which is generally not recommended. So yeah, don't do that. Also, I'll be balancing the scope in declination fairly exactly because I know exactly where the center of balance is. Okay, so I know about the deck, but what about the RA axis? Let's balance this. Yeah, it seems I need a bit more counterweight. Isn't it amazing? We have only 7 kilos of counterweights and almost 10 kilos of scope, and it's balancing decently well. Okay, so we are balanced. We're more or less in the zero position. I'm going to get my camera out, I mean the ASI 174mm, and we're going to get this mount slewing. So first, just to show a little bit of the equipment that we have, I hope I'm in focus. That's the problem with using cameras where you don't even see what you're doing. So many times I've recorded a video and then realized that I was not recording the whole time. Haha. Anyway, we're having the 174mm, which is it's an awesome camera. I'm getting such good results on the sun and also on the planet, better than I've ever gotten before. I don't know if it's because I've gotten better. I don't think so. I've never really done planetary, or it's just the camera is really good. So what am I doing here? I'm actually screwing in a Barlow lens that came with my Hyperion, my Batter Hyperion zoom, click-stop zoom eyepiece, which is a great zoom eyepiece. I absolutely love it. And it came with this little Barlow lens that has actually a T-thread on top, so I can just screw it into my my 174mm. And it's good because I don't have any standard cheap Barlow lens. I probably sold the ones that I had. And then what do I have? I have this beautiful filter wheel here, which is a manual filter wheel that I bought years ago and I never used, and I'm glad I kept it because it's going to be useful today. And on one side I just have a 1.25 inch eyepiece barrel kind of thing. On the other side I have actually a piece of equipment that is meant for the ZW OAG, off-axis guider, but I'm repurposing it so that I can actually focus rather than using the main knob on the Celestron Schmidt-Cassegrain. I'll just be using this for final focus adjustments. We'll see if it works better. So I'll just insert the camera in there, and now we are ready for the camera part of things. And while I'm at it, I'll connect it to USB, so we are ready. Now I'll still get an eyepiece for the original centering of Jupiter using like the go-to of the mount. And now we are ready. I'm turning on the mount. Oh, Jupiter is right there. It's beautiful. It's super shiny. It's bright. Wow, I'm so excited. And we're going to go into equatorial mode on the mount. My latitude, longitude, time zone, elevation, date is good. It is currently 8:06 p.m. We do not have daylight saving. The Polaris, I don't care. Begin alignment, yes. 1 star align. Wait, can I choose Jupiter? Then no. Never mind the alignments. Exit the alignments. We're just going to go directly to our planet, and it will be our friend Jupiter. And view object. Hopefully everything well set. The scope will not fall off, I hope. We'll see. And actually yesterday I had a weird thing. When I flew to Jupiter before alignment, it did exactly what it did right now. Jupiter is not here, it's all the way back there. And that's really, really weird. So I guess I really actually have to do the alignment. And I'm gonna choose Vega because I know that Vega is all the way up there. It will be very easy to do. But it's like a weird thing, right? It can actually find the alignment stars automatically, but it cannot find a planet, even though it knows where it is. Maybe it doesn't initialize the planet positions before it has alignment data. I don't know. I just know that I don't really like the SynScan system. And that's why for astrophotography, I will not be using the SynScan system. I'll just be using my EQ6 mod EQDR cable, which I've shown in a previous video. Okay. So I'm gonna adjust that. Now what's really cool about Vega is I can literally break my neck while trying to center it because I have to like, I'm not even sure whether you're seeing that, but it doesn't look pretty. And good news, I've centered Vega. We are back in business. Let's try again to slew to this planet. Caution, the value of the previous, and I don't care about this. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. Let's go to Jupiter. Yes. Come on, go for it. Good luck. I think it's going in the right direction this time for a change. The wind with this mount, which, you know, you can see how small the mount is with regards to the actual telescope, it will suffer in the wind. So we'll see how it performs, but I already can tell that it will not perform great. So Jupiter is there, which is good. It's directly in the eyepiece. Now Jupiter is beautiful, but unfortunately no great red spot for us today, as far as I can tell. Okay, so it's more or less centered. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of trouble with the wind. It's really not made for wind, but I am going to connect my equipment. I'm gonna remove the diagonal that I have. And so now we are ready. I wasn't super clear with the filter wheel before, but the filter wheel has red, green, and blue filters, which were super cheap. I bought years ago, and they're probably terrible, but we're gonna see how well they work. So let's get this connected to SharpCap and see if we can get anything out of this. Okay, we're in SharpCap. For the moment, I don't see anything, but we could just be wildly out of focus, which is a distinct possibility. So I need to kind of like look for the planet, and that can be a bit painful, and that's because like my diagonal and the actual like direct through the scope kind of setup that I have are not pointed in exactly the same direction. So now I'll spend some time searching. Oh, there it is, Jupiter, my friend. Come here. Doesn't it look very appetizing right now? I'm getting hungry. It's a beautiful donut with like smoothed out edges. It almost looks 3D. I'm hungry now. Okay, let's get it focused. No. So I'm just turning the knob on the Schmidt-Cassegrain itself for now to adjust to rough focus. Now I'm in rough focus, so I am going to lower the exposure time so that we don't have just a bright blob, and that's less in focus. We're starting to see something decent there. So what I'll do is, I think I can, I'm not sure which filter we have right now. Interesting. So let me try to change the filter, because I know I have LRGB in there. I think that's L, R, G, B. Okay, B, G, R. Okay, so we're good. You notice that even as I walk, the image is just like jumping around. We're gonna make the capture area smaller, so we have a better view and higher frame rate. I put it to mono 8 because we don't need 16 bits of bit depth. Which is for more like HDR type of picture. Here you can see the wobble that we see in RA when I move the RA axis too quickly, but it seems to be working fine. And now we're getting to the part where I really want to have an electronic focuser rather than focusing manually, because the wind. The planet will be jumping around like crazy, and I'm trying to get it in perfect focus. So this is less in focus. I'm messing everything up. Less in focus. More in focus. Less in focus. More in focus. Out of frame. And I can even like stabilize it with my hand. The mount is really having trouble with the wind, isn't it? So that's like one of the weak points of that mount, but then it's a big telescope on a small mount. And that's one area where I think the AZ Mount Pro is a bit superior. But I think this looks reasonably in focus, don't you think? Well, even if you don't think so, I cannot hear you. So let's just get down to business. I'm going to try to center this a bit more. I'm going to turn down the rate of movement. We're having a lot of wind, and so because we are having a lot of wind, I am going to try to basically first turn off the light so I don't interfere with the imaging, and we're going to lower the exposure time to be less than 10 milliseconds, as I learned for solar imaging from the comments from you guys. So thank you so much, because that will help me freeze not only the seeing of the atmosphere, but also those weird like wind movements. One of the things that's really cool as well is that because the 174mm has a global shutter, meaning the whole image is read out at once, it will not get like wobbly images of Jupiter when Jupiter is moving around because of the wind, or because I'm talking so energetically, and you can see the effect that it has on my actual image. So I am on a wooden balcony, let's not remember, because I don't have enough challenges as it is imaging from Tokyo. Okay, let me turn off the light. Okay, so now we are with Jupiter, back with Jupiter. We are going to decrease the exposure time to around 9 milliseconds. We don't see much. I don't like amping the gain, but that's what we'll do. We'll sacrifice noise. It's just a matter of compromise. I do not think we'll get like an award-winning image out of that. Now, Jupiter is still fairly low compared to its highest point. And there is wind. Oh, this is going to be difficult. But, life is not fun without challenges. So let's go for it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to capture very quickly multiple videos. We want to keep the total capture time, at least for me, because I don't want to have to use complicated software like WinJupos, to less than like 3-4 minutes in total. So the reason for that is that Jupiter rotates on its axis so quickly. I think it's like 9 hours for a full rotation. I don't remember exactly, but it's quick enough that with like 3-4 minute videos, you actually can see the rotation a little bit, and that blurs out the image that you are taking, which is not a good thing. So we'll want to take the red filter, lots of frames very quickly, then switch immediately to the green filter, lots of frame immediately, and then immediately to the blue filter. So it's a lot of work. So I'm actually going to reduce the resolution some more, so we can get as many frames per second as I can, and we are going to do a quick capture of 60 seconds, and I can always stop it before it is on 60 seconds. Start. Okay, we're done. Next filter. Green filter is there. Let's stabilize. We need to be quick. Okay, there's wind. I don't care. We do a quick capture of another 60 seconds. Oh, come on, wind. Don't mess with us. Well, we'll see how this is going to work. Okay, and the next capture is done. Let's go to the last filter, blue, which is much darker, as you can tell. And I think I've slightly moved the telescope, so I need to quickly recenter it. No, I didn't want to do that. We're losing time, we're losing precious rotation time. And okay, we should be good now. And I'm gonna do another capture of 60 seconds. Oh, and I just realized I made a big mistake. I left the output format as AVI, as auto, which SharpCap does for Mono 8. I don't think it's going to be a big issue for us, but normally I would be selecting SER, S-E-R, as the format. But with that, hopefully, I should stop talking while we're capturing, but hopefully we will get a nice result. We'll see. And we're done. We're done with the capture, so let's get down to actual processing. Okay, so now that we are done with the capture, we are going to use a piece of software called AutoStackert. So this is AutoStackert, their webpage. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below. It is great to stack planetary, solar, and lunar images. I absolutely love it, and you can see that with a bit of luck, it can also be used for things like bright galaxies, which is a bit crazy. So let's open up AutoStackert. Here it is, and I am going to open up the first file. So it's going to be the first file for today, capture, and let's see. So I have the first file here, and we can see Jupiter, and we want to say that it is a planet, and we are going to, it's very easy, we're just going to click on Analyze and wait for it to finish analyzing all of the frames. Okay, here we are, and now we're going to choose a percentage of frames to stack. I want to keep the highest quality frames, but I know I have quite a bit of noise as well, so maybe 10% will be a good compromise from me. And before stacking, we want to draw some alignment points. But this is easy for me. I'll just click on 24 here and click on Place AP Grid. It will place the alignment points for me. I don't have anything to do. And then I just click Stack. So there's not much simpler in life than doing that. Okay, and now we're going to do the same thing for the other two files. Now the second file, you can see immediately as I open it, it adjusts for any difference in position between the files. It immediately chooses and selects where the planet is. I don't know how precise that is. Maybe it could, the alignment of the three videos, red, green, and blue together, could be better done. But you know, we'll see how that works. So again, analyze, place the AP points, and stack. Those are the three steps. Okay. Second image done. Let's go to the third one. Okay, and the next step is I am going to actually open up PixInsight. And PixInsight is a hardcore suite for astrophotography processing. It's expensive. I think it's €230 plus tax if you're in the European Union. But, you know, compared to the price of a mount or a telescope, it's totally worth it. And it is one of the things that you will be using forever and ever. It's a worthwhile investment, in my opinion. Although the same thing can be done with free software. You could be using GIMP for the combination of the images and Registax for the sharpening of the images. Both are free, and I can leave you down below some links, although I am not expert on them, so I will just open things up in PixInsight. So let's get our images opened up. So AutoStacker created a new folder where I took my videos, saying that it's 10% stacking, and we can open up. Why do I have 4 frames? Oh yeah, I have 1 frame from an earlier solar imaging session. But I can drag and drop those 3 frames. We can see the results, and we can try to sharpen each a little bit. And for me, I know there are better ways, but we're just going to try to have like a quick first look at how it can look like using the multi-scale linear transform tool. And in my experience, I'll just create a preview here. I'll open up the preview. I'll click on here to see the real-time results, and I am going to sharpen the second layer. And we do see quite a few details. It's not like super extremely detailed, but it is, you know, not bad at all either. And so I am going to apply that to my red image. Or at least I think that's the red image. So I'll call this one, red is the timing. It was at 2054, 22, 23, right? So this is red. This one is the green image. So I'll call it G for green, and we're going to do something similar. I'll just select a preview. We're going to look at the preview, get a real-time preview, and we're going to see how we should adjust those sliders to be not too aggressive, but to kind of see enough details in there. And I think this is pretty decent. You can see I'm not putting a lot of effort into this because I simply am not a good planetary astrophotographer. Okay, and I think this will be good enough for green. So I'll just sharpen up green. And the last one is blue. And we're going to do the same thing. So open up a preview. And maybe I should like do a screen transfer function. No, it's too bright then. So I'll just make do with what I have right now. And we can sharpen as before. I think I will be able to sharpen, roughly that much here. That's a lot of sharpening, but it seems to be working well. And the low scale sharpening here, the number 1, I can sharpen less probably because there is more noise, and noise is typically in the low scale of things. So with that, we should have the blue. You notice how quickly I'm doing all of this, and I have no idea really whether that's the correct method or not, but hey, you know, we can always try. And then I go into LRGB combination, the tool, which is here, and I'm gonna unselect L. We're gonna select red for red, green for green, and I forgot to rename the blue image. So the last one, which is the blue image for blue. I'm not sure whether we're going to do, let's try to do chrominance noise reduction. I have no idea whether that will work well. And here we have a color image of Jupiter. It looks a bit yellowish right now, right? So we could actually adjust kind of the curves manually. So go inside like curves transformation, which is something you could do in GIMP as well, and say like, okay, it looks a bit yellowish. So maybe I'm gonna remove some green and some red, and adjust, and we're gonna play with blue, and maybe like that, and then red, maybe like this, and we want to brighten up the image a little bit, and we want to saturate the image a little bit. And we could do this, right? Which works relatively well, but it involves like manual manipulation of curves, and I do not like manual manipulation of curves. So I'm just gonna keep that as one image. another one that we can do is the color calibration in PixInsight. I'm just going to click on that, and the trick is to uncheck structure detection here, and then I just apply it, and poof, we get immediately an image that I think doesn't look too bad at all. So we can get a preview, we can apply some contrast, curve, like kind of like S curve and something like that, and call it a day. So, you know, that was easy. Maybe actually prefer without the contrast curve, and that's our image of Jupiter. And it's not like the best image ever, obviously. It was taken very quickly, it was taken in wind, it's not in the best conditions, my scope was not properly thermal equilibrium yet. But you know, it's Jupiter, it's visible, we have cloud bands, it's there. And you know, I like it. This is cool. We've gotten in what, like 20 minutes, a really decent image of Jupiter. And that's, you know, that's the whole fun of planetary astrophotography. You can get decent images quickly, and you can get time lapses like that quickly. Take many images in a row, process them, put them into a video, and you can see the moons of Jupiter dancing around Jupiter, that kind of stuff. Lots of fun, and you know, I like doing that. So that's pretty much it for this video. So the rest of the evening, I'll be doing actual imaging of some nebula. So that will be in another video. For now, I hope you enjoyed this little topic about imaging Jupiter. Yes, if this is something like, typically I do deep sky imaging with nebulae, galaxy, that kind of stuff. But if this is something that you know, it sounds interesting to you and you're not subscribed to this channel, please feel free to go down below, click on that subscribe button, click on the little notification bell to know when I have a new video coming up. And I have tons of videos about like deep sky astrophotography, about setting up your mount, about choosing your mount, about like the camera, whether it should be monochrome or OSC color, you know, how to automate your whole setup, how to use automation software like Nina, all sorts of videos. If that sounds interesting, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, if you like this video, if you found it useful, please go down, click on the like button. If you have suggestions about how to do planetary imaging, because I am a rookie, I'm a noob at planetary imaging, I don't know what I'm doing, feel free to let me know down in the comments. Any help is much appreciated. And with that, thank you so much for watching. You know, whenever you can, don't forget to look up at the stars and the planets, and I'll see you next time.